Hey everyone. So I released a video talking about hot takes that people in my community had. And I asked you guys on that video to leave more hot takes, and then the comment section got to 150. So I'm kind of obligated to actually review some of the hot takes. I have selected 10 hot takes, some of which I picked out because they were interesting or else other stuff. You'll probably notice that some of the most upvoted comments on that video, like, I'm just not responding to. This is because some of the comments I just don't know anything about, and some of the comments are not hot takes, and another heaping helping of them are just directly incendiary for no fucking reason. You know, like that one guy who decided to go on a goddamn rant about the left during a funny space station video. That dude's weird. Anyway, strap in, enjoy, and let me know what you think about these hot takes. And leave more. And subscribe. Do everything. I demand it. Our first hot take comes from Simon Says Sushi 4 numbers. All SEC officers should have an unclosable pop-up of space law. While he's obviously exaggerating or joking, I hope. I do agree with the sentiment behind this shitpost. Like, security officers not knowing space law and, like, just pretending to, like, not know it half the time and ignoring it is a major issue that needs to be, like, properly addressed. Like, we all know we're at a low, like, all-time low admin presence, so I think having a more mechanical change could work. Like, forcing people that, like, play cadet for the first time to answer a quiz or something about space law. I don't know. Like, sec-offs should be required to know space law, but often they just don't. Next take. Regardless of how much you like it, traders define the norm of an SS14 round. There are other types like nukies, and they only really work as a contrast to traders. At least that's what I think this guy means. That Alasdair Sinclair means. Yeah, like, I agree. Like, traders are definitely the norm of a space station round, and nukies and revs and zombies, I guess, work to contrast the Cindies. The problem is, contrast only works when the contrast is either just as good or better. And I think nukies is just as good, frankly, although it's a little too common for it to be, like, you know, actually good. And as for revs and zombies, it just sucks. Like, they just kind of sucked as a contrast. The rounds on zombies are too short, and revs is, well documented how shit it is. Next take. This guy's cheating with 2, says 39. Singularity and Tesla are the most boring ways of doing power. And it's only popular because of their ability to round end if sabotaged. The only joy it brings is when someone else takes care of the damned maintenance. AME had complexity even if it didn't blow up the entire station after it got overloaded or ran out of fuel. That's a take. So, first of all, Singularity and Tesla are boring by design. Like, okay, how do I explain this? One hand, you have the people who want an actual interesting power source, super matter and the like. On the other hand, you need to contend with the problem children. You know, the idiots who want to intentionally cause problems and loose. Raiders, griefers, shit like that. The problem is, since Supermatter and, like, frankly, Singular and Tesla at this point are so easy to loose on accident, it becomes incredibly difficult to tell when someone is intentionally singulusing and when it's just a new player trying to figure things out. And if we apply that to the Supermatter engine, which is so complicated that I don't even want to get into it, the problem doubles because even the most competent of people can accidentally cause that thing to delaminate. Now, of course, there is the whole thing of, do we design things around griefing? How much do we apply griefing protections at the expense of complexity? Stuff like that. But that's a whole other conversation that I am not qualified to deal with. As for Antagonist secondness, the RCD is too common and creates lazy engineers that are close to useless if they lose it or run out of ammo. Unfortunately, it's needed to remove external grids when fixing spacing, since Fireaxe has lost that ability. I completely agree. The RCD should not be a round start thing, and I do still think that's like a massive problem. Like, okay, let's say like a Cindy bomb goes off. You need, at the very least, steel and wires to fix it. That can all be carried in your bag, or hell, even in like a box that you drag around. Like, some edgy teams before the RCD would have a designated guy that carries and gathers supplies, a gopher, if you will, which is far better and more interesting than just, oh, RCD every problem. RCD shouldn't be removed, but they should be locked behind science, I feel. And as for the whole Fireaxe space grill removing thing, okay, that requires me to dissect why nukies is generally bad for the entirety of the game. But yeah, like, that's pretty much just the fault of nukies being a poorly designed game mode, in my opinion. Yeah, let's move on. Here comes this guy with the spiciest take I've seen on the entire video. Stun meta doesn't exist. Antags have so many tools to completely shut down stuns or negate their effects. People who cry about stunning and cuffing just aren't robust. Now, I want to dissect this into 3 categories. And like, I guess 3 separate takes. The first one is people who cry about stunning and cuffing just aren't robust. Completely true. Like, if you get, like, if you're like a nukie with an L6 and you get stunned and cuffed by like a, you know, stinger or something, you fucking just, you're unrobust, dude. Antags have the tools to completely shut down stuns or negate their effects. I also agree with this, but not as strongly. Like, there are times when stunning just becomes the better option for most things. I don't know. It's weird to think about. The last one, though. Stun meta doesn't exist. Completely wrong. Stun meta exists as a natural consequence of effective HP. Like, okay, how many bullets can someone take when they're being shot by a lector? If that amount is more than the time it takes to be stunned by a disabler, then the security officer should just use disabler or disabler SMG, because a stun into a cuff is effectively a kill. Because someone that's cuffed, you could just murder, get to brig, stuff like that. Stun meta exists because armor doesn't have a stunning penalty. Like, someone in a blood red hardsuit, or even a death squad hardsuit, is just as vulnerable as some guy running around with just clothes on. And that's kind of dumb, I think. Speaking of stuns and the stun meta, this guy's got a take about the ninja. Crew shouldn't know that the effect means ninja, the cloak effect, and crew should not know anything about the ninja's objectives. This is... Okay, let's break this down into, again, 2 different hot takes. Crew shouldn't know that the cloak effect means ninja. Completely agree. However... How do I explain this? Let's talk about revs for a second. Revs and their flashes are metagameable because they're revs and their flashes. If you hear a flash and someone drops, revs. Regardless of how much you enforce metagaming rules and all that, you can't just tell someone's, like, brain to not think, oh, hey, it's revs, and that subconsciously causes them to metagame a bit. So, even if you do enforce a meta rule over the cloak, it wouldn't really do anything because, Lo and behold, everyone still knows it, and all it takes is one guy metagaming it. And the secret's out. I do think this could be countered, though, by giving a cloaker to Cindy's. Just like Cindy's and Thieves, give them a cloaking device that does the same thing as a ninja's cloaking device. Suddenly, a guy running around cloaked doesn't mean ninja, it means guy running around cloaked. As for the second, crew should know about the ninja's objectives. I disagree with this one. Okay. Ninjas are inherently very strong. They insta-win 1v1s against anyone that doesn't have insulated gloves, and they have the tools to completely avoid anyone that does have insulated gloves. Teleports, cloaks, gaining infinite power from substations and all that. I think it's fair that the crew knows about their objectives, and I think it's there's no real way to unmeta this, is the thing. Part of the reason why the metagaming rules, or the meta shielding rules, on the Wizard's Den hub, include rules about Cindy objectives not being meta shielded, is because it's impossible to police. Dookies want to blow up the whole station, Cindy's probably want to murder someone and take important items, Thieves want to steal shit. It's just kind of required because there's no way to properly police any of that. I don't know. I don't think ninjas should be a special case in this scenario. Here's another hot one from Rogue T-Bats. The hot take that did get them jumped one time was, not everything going forward needs to be beginner friendly. I think it's going to hurt the longevity of the game if they babyify every mechanic and department. We need more complicated stuff for recurring players. This I agree with on the surface. Besides science, every department is very basic. Except for security, because security is security, and it's sort of the most advanced job, I guess? I don't know. Cargo is way too simple to understand. Salve has gone dumbed down a fair bit with the removal of the reclaimer. Engineering itself, one engineer, me, can set up power in 2 minutes. Genuinely, people being in my way trying to help just makes it take longer. It's a weird feeling. However, I will say that there are certain things that should be babyfied and extremely easy to do. For example, power setup should be very easy to do around start, because again, if NG is not doing their jobs, like in the background footage you're seeing, then no one gets to have fun. And I don't know, medical on one hand should also be easy, because if medical can't perform, everyone dies. But more advanced medicine should require advanced techniques, difficulty, non-babyified stuff. I don't know. I guess what I'm saying to summarize here is if the stuff is more powerful, make it more complex. If it's simple, keep it uncomplex. I guess. Yeah. And for a 2 pair of hot takes from Hen Hen the Third. 1. You shouldn't be allowed to steal the Duke via shuttle and tossing it and take it far away from the station. I didn't come here to play Frontier during Dookies. This I completely agree with. However, it did get changed where the station Duke is now unmovable. I'm not sure about the Dookie Duke. So that infinite round stalling won't happen. I do agree that the Dookie shuttle shouldn't be, usable by anyone who isn't a Dookie, though. Because, stealing the Dookie shuttle is just fucking lame, dude. Hot take 2, though. Skeletons should not be valid the second they spawn and only be valid once they have done something bad. So, skeletons, and I guess Rat Kings, are in a very weird spot. Rat Kings are effectively, and I'm going to catch some flack for this, They should just straight up be kill on sight the second they spawn, because Rat Kings cannot do anything to help the crew. They can only harm the crew with their stupid armies. And if crew lets a Rat King live, congrats. They have an army that's big enough to literally one-shot anyone. It's ridiculous. Skeletons, though, shouldn't be valid on sight, because skeletons could actually help the crew. Like, the way I put it is, if a skeleton does any crime and they haven't been given an ID by Hop, Cap, or whoever, which would make them crew, then kill them. They're not crew then. But the second they spawn, you shouldn't just murder them because they might do something bad. Like, engineering could at any time loose the Singulo. Same with every other crew member. Like, doing bad shit is not exclusive to a skeleton. The local goose has come out of the woodwork to honk at me with a hot take that zombies has the highest potential for gameplay at RP. What the hell are you talking about? Zombie gameplay is, oh, it's zombies. Oh, zombies have spawned. Security gets lethals. Everyone gets welders. Defend chem. Blah, blah, blah. Or a zombie who wants to win, an initial infected, just blows up chem. Like, that's not interesting gameplay when every round goes the exact same. Roleplay? Sure. Like, any game mode can have interesting RP. I just don't really think that zombie rounds lend themselves very well to natural RP, unless it's, like, forced. Like, for example, what is it? Like, okay, let's say Cindy's. Cindy's have an infinite number of ways they could roleplay being a Cindy. They could be a suave negotiator, a massive terrorist, hold someone hostage, whatever they want. But then there is the whole problem of they just, like, zombies just are, they don't do anything. Like, a zombie can't roleplay. That's the whole problem. Every other antagonist is still a person that can declare things, yell at people, roleplay their reasons, talk about, like, oh, I need to do this, or I need to feed my kids, bro. Meanwhile, a zombie's goals are, rah, run at you, bite you, infect you. There's no interesting gameplay besides, oh, his skin is green, he's evil, oh no, and maybe we had to kill him, bro. Which is all the same. Like, interesting roleplay comes naturally. It's not forced. And for our last hot take, we have one from Box Dog. As a crew member or a station pet, it is not your job to hunt down and actively seek out a known syndicate agent. We have SEC for a reason. If you choose to valid hunt, do not expect remorse, you will be given. I think they might be, responding to something. Jokes aside, though, completely agree. Like, unless you have a roleplay reason to go hunt down a member of the syndicate, or even just hunt down anyone, you should not be surprised when that antagonist tosses you into space for trying to hunt them down and kill them. And I encourage any antagonist to toss people into space and forget about them. Give them, get rid of them. If they want to fucking valid hunt and try to be a vigilante, they better be prepared for the villain, the syndicate agent, to murder them. Like, that should just be expected. And for the second last hot take, what else besides a salve hot take? Taking away the reclaimer outright makes salve nearly useless, and it was lazy to do so without a proper solution to redoing salve. Oh boy. Now, I want to preface this. I do not play salve at all, ever. Like, I personally find salve to be incredibly boring. Same with science, frankly. Yes, I know I'm going to have to write stereotypes for science itself at some point, no, I'm not looking forward to it. But pretty much, like, okay, the devs had two options. Kneecap Salve and turn Salve's issue of, like, being way overpowered if you're an antagonist or just a shitter into, okay, well, now Salve just sucks, or leave Salve overpowered as it is. And I'll be honest, this is going to sound a little selfish, but I would rather one role be kind of less fun to play and not, like, done properly. Or well, okay, instead of, I guess, like, one role being a massive problem for every other role. Like, Salvage with the Reclaimer, as it was blatantly overpowered. Like, there was zero things a crew member could do, security especially, to, like, stop a full traitor salve team, or anyone that hijacked the salve shuttle. And considering they spawn with weapons, I don't think that should be the case. Like, I don't know. That's my own personal thoughts about the whole salve reclaimer issue, but I do kind of agree with the sentiment that they should have had some, like, idea in place. Personally, I would have been a fan of just giving security a shuttle and making that the solution, but that's a much bigger problem than Salve having a shuttle, I guess. I don't know. It's a hard call to make, but I think they made the right call in, like, decapping them now and fixing it later. For the final take of the video, review my state. Wait, review my station? That's not a hot take, but okay, what's your station?